week, we finally discover a single redeeming quality about dubstep. We discover that Keith has a hard time pronouncing the word lemur, and that Arkansas is finally taking a stand against the health food radicals. All that and more on this week's episode of...
I'm crazy, you're crazy, we're all going crazy! Robot lady, sound the alarm!
Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour. Warning. The following podcast is another wasted hour.
Don't waste my motherfucking time! Oh my god, we've made it through another March Madness. I don't know how we did it. It was insane. It really was. I didn't even notice, I'll be honest. I'm not good at March Madness, is what I've learned. So we'll talk about that in a moment, but as you all know, the next hour of your life is going to be replaced with, well, one ignorant, uninformed, ill-advised, self-deprecating moron ranting about opinions that I have no right to have, which are probably wrong and absolutely do not matter. That's because Adam, unfortunately, is away from the soundboard this week, so hopefully he'll be joining us again next week. Our goal here at Another Wasted Hour is to convince you that where we hail from, just outside Washington, D.C., is not just a city of politics and scandal, but one brimming with art, music, and culture, and madness. As impossible as that may seem. So listeners, now that you know why you're here, where do you go to get new Neros? The Nero Farm! Woo! We have them live in studio. Let's go one by one. Woo! Colin.
Hello.
There we go. Put your microphone right up to your face there.
Right there? How's that?
Yeah,
Is
you
that
can bring
better?
it in. That way you can relax
shirt.
if you want to do that.
By the way, I love your shirt.
This is your shirt. You gave me a shirt.
Did we?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a Neurofarm shirt, and it fits like a glove.
It looks good.
Next to you, we have Rebecca.
Hello.
Hi, Rebecca. And we have Brian.
Hello.
One of you was not planning to be on the show.
That is true.
I think it's you, Brian, that
is
did
true.
not come prepared.
Not at all.
You're like, I was not going to be an extrovert tonight at all. But Adam left us, so we have all three of you on microphones. So welcome.
Thank you.
Members of the Neurofarm. You have a brand new album just came out.
We do. It's called The Descent. We just released it.
In March 6th, that came out. I assume available just on all streaming platforms and buying platforms and places where we can throw money at you for music, right?
Yeah, please do. It's on
Yeah.
Spotify, iTunes, Amazon, Bandcamp, everywhere.
And we have a track from that particular album. It's called Forged Alliance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to be available. If you're very impatient, you can fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show. You can hear the entire track, but we'll also be playing a sample of that a little bit later in the show if you want to follow along with us. You also have a big show coming up Thursday on May 11th.
Yeah, so
Right? Or April 11th? April 11th.
May 11th.
May 11th.
Yeah.
Is that what it is?
May 11th.
Oh, okay. For some
Yeah.
reason, I had it in my head that it was April 11th.
Okay, no worries. So yeah, this is organized by the lovely ladies at This Could Go Boom. So we're
Okay.
getting showcased that day. So yeah, please drop by. Do drop in.
And what is This Can Go Boom? I've just kind of heard about this coming onto the scene a little bit ago.
Oh, yeah.
Do you have...
So it's super cool. You know how labels are mostly dominated by, the typical white males.
So not
right?
robots.
Not robots.
I was certain it was robots.
Oh, no. Too
well,
bad.
That
Yeah.
does explain why we never got signed. I kept going up to just vending machines and being like, sign us! Tell your leaders to sign us and produce our music. And they never listened.
Oh, shucks.
No, okay, terrible white people. Mainly the male
Yeah.
types.
So anyways, This Could Go Boom is a collective effort to promote the non-traditional people in music. Yeah, they're really cool. So, and they do a ton of different events. They have workshops, they have hangout parties, and they have curated shows once a month to showcase mostly female-fronted local bands.
Right. And I think they're also pushing, for people of color as well. Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's like
That too.
the both things. Is that the right thing to say? I feel
Sure.
It feels weird saying that. It's started to come into vogue recently, the people of color, because I know back in history, we had the colored people, terrible. We don't say that. That's horrible. And then now people of color is fine. And I always feel like I'm a little on the edge. And I just want to be the good ones.
I think you're okay. You're okay with that.
Yeah, I think I
Right,
am,
yeah.
but it feels weird because I want to do the right thing.
So you have NAACP,
Yeah.
colored people. So
Right. But
Oh, yeah,
that's
that's
like
true.
what racists say, like, see, we can use that word because they're
that's
using
a
it.
good point.
So
Shoot.
so people of color, women, that's really what they're
Generally
focused on.
underrepresented.
Yeah, true.
Underrepresented folks, right?
That's a good way
That's what
to
it
say
is.
it.
Do you know
Yeah.
if do they also kind of promote the LGBTQ
Absolutely.
plus as
Yep.
well? Cool.
Yep,
So
non-binary.
just kind of all underrepresented groups is really what they're
Right.
shooting for. So it's very cool, right, to hear that. I'm glad that there's an outlet now that we can go to make sure to support those different types of artists.
Yeah, and they're really cool people too. So yeah, definitely come to this show. I do drop in May 11th,
May 11th, Thursday, May 11th.
Saturday.
Saturday. See, I've got it all mixed up. Saturday.
Which is good because for some reason we have a mix of shows. Weekends, sometimes they're weeknights, and it's perfectly fine doing the weeknight thing.
Mhm.
But usually we're wiped out the next day, and we're thankful that anybody shows up, and we thank them profusely for coming out on a school night,
Right.
so to speak.
Yeah.
So when we do have Fridays or Saturday nights, it's kind of a treat because we don't have to be bleary-eyed and get up the next morning and pretend like we're functioning humans.
Well, and that's the important part, right? Because then you can throw everything into it.
Mhm.
Is there a lot to throw into it when you're doing dark wave?
Yeah,
Is
we
there-
have a super dramatic stage look. So if you've seen the Neurofarm on stage, I hope you appreciate the kind of look that we put together.
Yeah.
So do you know the show Penny Dreadful?
Somewhat. I mean, I haven't really watched it, but I've
it's
heard
so
of it.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So whenever I pick a show outfit, I think of Vanessa Ives from Penny Dreadful.
Okay.
So gosh, so good.
So very gothy, very dramatic, very over the top on kinds of things.
And I have this LED violin that's made of transparent acrylic.
Oh, cool.
So it looks like it's carved out of ice, and
Yeah.
you can change the color to whatever color you like. So it looks
Nice.
super cool. So yeah, definitely come to our show to check out my cool violin.
That's awesome. So yeah, so Saturday, I got this right now. Saturday, May
Saturday.
11th. Do drop in Washington, D.C.
Yep.
If you want to find out more about the band, about upcoming shows, about more music, go to www.theneurofarm.com.
Yes.
And you were telling me that some people spell farm with PH, and that's not the case.
Yeah, some people think they're super smart and they know the word neuropharmacology, so they think it's neuropharm as in neuropharmacology.
Yeah.
But like we usually try to picture a field of brains, a farm of brains.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it's like a proper farm.
And I have on my shirt like trees that kind of look like they have synapses in them.
Yes.
So that's perfect. And how did you come up with the name the Neurofarm?
Well, that's how Brian.
Yeah, it was actually when I was taking a class on neuropharmacology.
Oh, okay.
So,
was
yeah.
neuropharmacology.
It was, yeah, that
So
was my favorite class
Oh.
in college.
It did come from that, and then you were
It
like,
did.
"Nah, I'm not doing that. I'm doing it differently."
Yeah, and then I wanted the brain, either the brain with crops growing out of it,
Yeah.
or the field with brains growing out of it.
Yeah, that
Either
makes sense. Like little cabbages.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
But brains.
But brain cabbages.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very cool. What do you think about March Madness? Have you guys partake in this? Do you know anything about March? Rebecca, you're looking at me like I might be killing a puppy right now. You're just like, what are you talking about?
It's so embarrassing. I don't even know what that is.
You've heard of it though, right?
I've heard of it. I know the name, but I don't watch any sports.
Do you think would it be more entertaining if you thought it wasn't sports?
Okay, so annually there's this event called Puppy Bowl.
Yeah,
That's what I
great.
watch.
Right.
That's the only sports event that I watch.
But let's say it wasn't basketball, because that's what March Madness is about, is college basketball. What would it be?
Puppy Bowl.
Puppy Bowl?
That's the only
Just-
sports
it
I
would just be
care about.
Puppy madness?
I just love puppies. And I'm wearing a dog shirt. You guys can't see it, but Keith can. It's my
Yes.
dog's 2020 campaign shirt.
You have a custom shirt made with your dogs on it running for 2020.
Yeah,
as a
and they have
campaign.
their policies all thought out too. So on the back of my shirt, they have 5 things that they promise voters.
Yeah, what are those things?
I can't remember.
Nailed it! Oh, good.
Well, we're still in the primary season. They definitely want high fives and belly rubs. I don't
Sure.
remember the rest.
That
You have to
seems
get the
good.
rest of their message together, right?
Mhm.
Yes, a treat in every pot.
Yes.
So how about you guys? Have you watched any of the March Madness?
No, I don't
Not at
really
all?
watch sports. A little baseball, but nothing else.
I've not watched a full game, but it's somewhat inescapable. You
Yeah.
know, if you're tuned in at all to the general sporting populace,
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of inescapable. And I'm not particularly a basketball fan. I do watch some NBA, but March Madness is so all-encompassing, you can't miss it.
I feel like this year's missing the one thing that's really good about March Madness.
What's that?
And that is, again, I'm not really a basketball fan, not a big college sports fan. A lot of that stuff is like really outside for me.
I'm with you.
But you get that one team that shouldn't win anything, and it starts beating teams that it shouldn't beat. And everyone's kind of like, all right, let's see this.
the rising upstart underdog story.
Yeah, whenever you have the Cinderella story,
Sure.
everyone kind of looks over and is like, all right, what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because I think we all love this, right? Where if you have a school that spends millions of dollars on basketball and then a bunch of guys who have to like buy their own like sneakers in a college you've never heard of, and then they come in and trounce, you know, the number one or whatever, you go, this is fun.
It's the David and Goliath kind
Yeah.
of thing. I mean, any underdog story is typically kind of
Compelling.
yeah.
right?
You can't.
And this year they don't have it. Like the most of the big teams made it, and
That's
they're
true.
fighting the other big teams, and so I'm kind of like,
like
whatever.
you, I really haven't ever followed college sports. I went to a tiny school that didn't even have sports at all, which I was perfectly fine and happy with.
Yeah,
And so I just never had a team I could go rah rah rah, go team, go team.
yeah.
But I did follow pro sports, and I still do a little bit. But March Madness is such a big thing, and I almost turn off. Like the whole month of March, I just kind of tune out because it's just too much for me.
It's
and I don't
just
have,
overwhelming.
And I don't
Yeah.
have a team that I have any affinity for.
I know
so-
for a fact that I had no interest in March Madness until I went to George Mason, and when George Mason went to the Final Four, I suddenly was like, okay, this is kind of interesting. And then then they stopped doing that, and I went, no, it's not really
Not that
interesting,
interesting
anymore.
after all.
Okay, so we went to Georgetown. Is there supposed to be some kind of rivalry between?
George Mason and Georgetown? I don't think there is.
Oh no, it's George Washington, Georgetown.
Oh
right?
yeah, that might be the case. Yeah,
Oh,
that
it's
could be.
going to display superiority.
And I would have accepted it. It is George Mason after all. All right, so moving on. Oh, you did want to say before we get moving on with the show, very important announcement. How are your feelings about Bryce Harper?
Oh, okay. So moving away from basketball,
Yes.
of which I don't have that much knowledge or affinity for, I have followed. I played baseball as a teenager, so kind of kept up with following baseball, and I watched pretty closely the Bryce Harper drama unfolding and all that kind of stuff, and him moving on to Philadelphia and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So last night, I do have to say that was I didn't watch the whole game. I watched highlights, but that was a pretty impressive kind of classic sports development. And I don't know if you saw it but he put on a show. He really put on a show. He's getting booed by the entire stadium. Huge crowd shows up on a weeknight in early April, which is kind of atypical. Huge crowd shows up. Everybody boos him. I mean, it was relentless.
Yeah.
People showing up with Trader shirts on,
Oh gosh, that's
yelling,
harsh.
throwing stuff. And then he strikes out, and everybody goes crazy. He's just getting beat up.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
And then and sort of he turns the tables, cranks out a hit. Then he cranks out a home run that was just bombastic. And suddenly everybody got really, really quiet. So, and he's running around the bases looking all, I mean, it was a pretty compelling sports moment. And very interesting for DC sports in particular, with him being such a high profile athlete, and everything that happened with him in the offseason,
Mhm.
signing this big deal with the Phillies and everything, and coming back here so early in the season, first time in DC, wearing a different uniform on the other, the visitor clubhouse and all that kind of stuff. It was pretty interesting to watch. So the dude really, really brought it. And I'm sure it was pretty interesting to be there at the game. I was not at the game, but
He seems to have made an impact on the area, and it sounds like even with him moving on, he's now bringing a fan base together, even if it's in spite of him.
true that.
So,
It's something
yeah.
to talk about. It gives sports writers and sports journalists something to talk about the next morning. And boy, do we need that.
Well, speaking of things to talk about, we now know that you're world-renowned musicians who are available worldwide on the internet. We know that at least one of you has some tertiary information about sports. Have any of you run your own publication?
Well, so sort of. Okay, so we're scientists, right? So we have to publish a lot.
Okay,
And
good.
I'm an author on 30 publications.
So
Does
good.
that count?
Yeah, so what we're going to do now is we're going to make you the editor-in-chief of your own publication. So
Ooh,
think of it
nice.
as a scientific journal if you'd like, but for things we find on the internet.
Cool.
Which is probably not science. And I'm gonna pitch you 8 stories. You're gonna let me know if that story gets in. It's called the Weather Report, so it's whether or not it is news or whether or not it is good enough for your publication.
Okay.
So let's get started without further ado. Let's see. We'll start off with dubstep artist Skrillex could protect you against mosquito bites.
Oh, that, yes.
Did you hear about this?
Yes.
So
I
apparently,
love that story.
Skrillex's music will make mosquitoes bite less often and later, like take longer to bite you.
Wow.
And makes them have less sex. So that's pretty awesome. So if you would rather
It's
not
very
be hit
awesome.
by mosquitoes, bit by mosquitoes, you should play some Skrillex while you're around.
If that's true, I'm doing it. I'll do
Yeah.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
The good news is you don't get bit by mosquitoes. The bad news is you have to listen to Skrillex.
Yeah. I don't know if it's worth it though. So,
How?
did you know that you can also spray Victoria's Secret's bombshell perfume on yourself and mosquitoes
No.
will not bite you either?
What I do is I get mosquito pheromones and I spray them on other people. And that protects me.
That's actually a good idea.
I just hang out with people I don't like.
I'm inspired now. That's what I'll do this summer.
Yeah, I mean, how embarrassing does it have to be that you find out that you make music that mosquitoes don't want to fuck to?
Was there
That's how unromantic it is.
That's so
Mosquitoes are like, ooh, I am not in the mood now.
was there a study that confirmed this? How did we know this is true?
So the Victoria's Secret perfume, that was published.
Oh.
That was in a scientific.
You're gonna
Manuscript.
you're gonna ask me all of these very important questions, but according to a recent scientific study,
Sure.
I'm putting that in quotes. I don't know if it's peer reviewed. Get off my ass, Colin. All right, sorry.
I like the idea though. I'm intrigued because there are mosquitoes coming out the wazoo in my backyard.
Yeah, well, you should apparently just put what is it, Monsters and Nice Sprites on repeat in your
Oh,
backyard.
yeah, I'm just gonna mount some speakers out on the roof,
Right.
the rear roof of my house, and blast it all day.
Right. And the good news is not only will you not have to worry about mosquitoes, but your neighbors will move as well.
And all of your friends.
This
Yeah.
is getting better by the moment.
And if you don't like people, also solves that problem.
Right.
This is too good to be true. I'm gonna have to look into this.
So is it news?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, so it makes it in. Excellent. 1 down. Next up, more condoms, but fewer cigarettes were found in annual New Jersey beach cleanup.
Huh.
I don't know if that's news. I would almost.
Well, what I think is happening, so what that means, right, is there's more sex but less smoking.
Smoking.
And that just means that after sex, people are vaping, right? Like
Oh,
that.
sure.
Right?
Yes.
That's what's happening
Yes.
here. It tells a story. We're still banging to all hell, but then we got our vape pens out.
We're a little bit more healthy in our post-sexual gratification.
Yeah, it's healthier, so I guess it is.
And it is healthy because they're using condoms. So that's
Right.
good.
Mhm.
Check
It's like-
and check.
Yeah. This is overall a very good trend. I mean,
It
it
is.
would be nice if it wasn't on beaches, but
Yeah.
you know,
It's sandy and uncomfortable.
yeah. But you would hope. Let's see, there was let's see, it looks like 22,000 cigarette butts, but that's down nearly a quarter from last year
This is
Oh,
in
wow.
New Jersey.
in New Jersey. Yeah.
Interesting.
So that's very good. Good job, New Jersey. Look at you cleaning up the beaches, getting rid of that smoking habit, not having any children because you're from New Jersey.
Good. Yeah.
They got it going. They got it going on. That's
Yeah,
great.
they were, or at least they've got it going on, but they're not procreating while they're doing it.
True.
That's the important bit. Is it news?
Yes.
Sounds like news.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, you have a triumvirate here. You could vote, I suppose.
Sounds like news.
All right. Next up, parents charged in college cheating scam turn to consultants to understand prison life. I love the irony of this one, right? Is that they first tried to cheat getting into college, and then they were like, oh, I'm going to go to prison. I should probably try to get to the head of class of prison, too. They didn't learn their lesson about consultants. And what does that consultant look like?
I have no idea. What do they say?
Just
be ready.
Just shiv the first big guy that you see. And they're like, I'm writing this down. That's good. I'm going to put it in my Palm Pilot.
Got it.
Yeah. They're like, you can't bring your Palm Pilot. What am I supposed to write this on?
No tablets. No.
Oh man, this news though.
Yeah, that's that. I'm just curious what that. What would you consult if you were to go into prison consulting? What advice would you give?
I know that's such a specific field. You know,
how much do they charge? Because it feels like if you're going to prison more often than not, you have a lot of moolah to throw around. But
there are all these really random and specific professions.
Yeah.
Did you know there's a turf physiologist?
A turf physiologist.
Yeah, that's a
I assume
profession.
That's for gangs. Right?
That's for grass.
What?
Yeah. Do you know
that doesn't make any sense?
Do you know Serial, the podcast?
I do.
Yeah, so they made a documentary and they interviewed this turf physiologist to study the evidence regarding the grass under the car.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a turf physiologist.
Why would we need that?
I have no idea. And what propels someone to go into the field of turf physiology?
I assume lack of options. Right? Like you got down the list, right? You were like, I'm going to be an athlete. And they were like, oh, no, you're not. And they're like, I'm going to be a musician. They're like, oh, you're tone deaf. And you just kept going down and you were like, philosopher. And they're like, ah. And you're like, turf physiologist. They're like, that's a thing. You're like, oh, I was just kidding. That's a thing? All right.
And so is prison consulting, apparently.
It's such a weird thing. Grass in general to me is strange.
Yeah.
It's like the weirdest thing we do as humans, as I could possibly imagine. We all were like, you know what I want? I want plants in my front yard that I can't eat and I have to keep short. Right? Like it's the weirdest.
Yeah, what a pain in the butt.
Why did we do this to ourselves? And then we're like, well, Bob doesn't have very nice grass. And you're like, who cares? Bob is doing things with his life.
We berate them because their grass is like subpar.
Yeah. Oh, is it brown? Oh, yeah. No, I didn't waste water on a thing that actually has no value at all. Are you kidding me?
And there's grass discrimination. Did you know people will look down on you if you have crabgrass?
Yeah.
I just found out.
Yeah. Crabgrass apparently bad. Why?
I love crabgrass.
What does that matter?
Crabgrass grows so well.
Right. It's super good at it.
I have a little tie-in with news story number 1, which is the fact that, and you guys have seen this, but in my house, we don't have grass in the front yard. It's all ivy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great. You don't have to mow it or anything, but it attracts mosquitoes.
Oh.
So maybe there's something to that. Either we got to put the Skrillex music on in the front yard too, or get rid of the ivy and put in grass so we can be one of those people.
Or just spread cigarette butts and condoms everywhere.
Ooh, now we really tied it in.
All right, is it news? Parents
I'm not sure.
Parents charged with college cheating scam turn to consultants to understand prison life.
Probably not, because they're attempting to obtain information, but I don't know if anything came out of it.
That's true. That is fair. Well, we won't call it news. I would have called it news because I didn't know that there were consultants for prison life.
Yeah, that part is news.
All right, we'll move on. Did you know that in the UK you can do lemur yoga in the Lake District? Do you know what lemur yoga is?
No, I have no idea.
Do you know what lemur yoga is?
Oh, I don't know why, but I was picturing llama yoga.
No, lemur yoga.
Oh, okay, I don't.
It is yoga with lemurs.
Oh, lemur.
Yeah, lemur yoga.
So
the little monkeys?
Yeah, lemur yoga.
What?
Oh.
So you get in poses and then they jump on you and crawl around, I guess. It's like, have you seen the like goat yoga?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And puppy yoga and cat yoga.
I assume you do puppy yoga constantly.
Whether you want
Just
to or not.
to see the puppy.
Yeah, just like, they're like, that's not the pose we're doing. You're like, I'm petting puppies, leave me alone.
That would be me. Yeah.
Everything is downward dog.
So lemur yoga is a thing?
That's, yeah.
People do that?
In the UK, in the Lake Districts, which I don't know where the Lake District is, but that is a thing that you can do as you're a tourist. You go and you do yoga with lemurs.
Is there ready access to lemurs all over the place?
I assume that the UK is just all ate up with lemurs. It's probably at a zoo or something. You want me to do all of this research?
Humans are. I'm just. Humans are funny. We're just funny. We do bizarre stuff.
I'm just saying.
Whose idea was that?
It was obviously England's idea. I didn't. You're really hanging me out to dry here.
They're busy. They're busy trying to figure out their Brexit. Meanwhile, they're doing yoga with lemurs,
Which is what they should be doing.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I like it. I would
Yeah.
do it.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. It's a wildlife park. So they have a
Interesting.
wildlife park,
Hmm.
and then you just go into the enclosure with the lemurs and you do yoga, and they probably just throw stuff at you.
Do you have to sign a
Disclaimer
disclaimer form before you go in there?
Yeah, so in case you get clawed up by
attacked.
lemurs.
A grumpy. He didn't want to relax and find a Zen moment.
Right. Well, to try and like subdue them, they play Skrillex the entire time. And so yeah,
We're gonna keep coming back to this.
it's not so good for the yoga, I'll be honest. But
No.
it does keep the lemurs away. All right. So is it news?
It's a new piece of information that I find useful because I will be taking advantage of this opportunity when I visit the UK.
All right. There you go.
And the people that are interested in do yoga probably want to know more about this. So
Yeah. No, that's excellent. 12-year-old boy who's fed up with potholes fixes them himself.
Oh, wow.
This is up in Michigan.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Good for him.
They couldn't get Domino's to come do it,
Right.
right?
So no, apparently not.
Interesting.
They could not. He just filled them with dirt.
Can we
Good for
please
him.
get him to come here? Because I don't know if you guys have been on the road, but man, it is rough out
Yeah.
there after this past winter.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Beltway is in rough shape. GW Parkway is. I'm worried about my car. I'm like, man, it is. There's some sinkholes out there.
So I loved the fact that Domino's did this. I don't know if you listened to the show, but I think we did this about the snow. We may have talked about this when it came to potholes, but what we think is that you should actually the Domino's idea should spread a little bit. Next one up, Pornhub, right?
Oh,
And then they just say, "We fill your holes," right? and then they go and just fill in potholes, right?
might be something to that.
Right.
Had you guys heard about the Domino's thing? Do you know about that?
No.
Domino's will. I think they've done this in a few select towns. I'm not sure where.
Yeah, I don't
But-
know where it's being done, but if you apply, you can get a pothole filled,
Oh.
so that you can take out pizza and not have it ruined.
Domino's will.
Yeah.
They will fill potholes, but then they like brand the pothole with their
Spray
name,
paint,
with
yeah.
their logo and stuff. So
That's
you know
cute.
it's like an advertising
Yeah.
kind of thing, and the pothole gets filled too.
The one we really wanted to do is when we were all snowed in from snow like 2 years ago, is get Pornhub to have plows and just have you've been plowed by Pornhub.
Oh my God.
And like that would be awesome because it would be a public service, and as it went by, you'd be like, "All right, nicely done, Pornhub.
Wow.
Nicely done."
They
It would
probably would
certainly
have.
be amusing.
They would have
Yeah.
taken you up on that. I mean, there's some marketing potential there.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, getting plowed by Pornhub.
Wow.
Oh, man.
All right, so is it news? This boy got tired of waiting for the city to do it. He went out there. He got buckets of dirt. He filled them in, and it actually got the city's attention. They
Oh.
ended up filling it over with the asphalt,
The real
after-
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I
That's
guess
news,
it is.
right?
Yeah.
That is, yeah.
Everybody loves like go get them self-starter
it's-
story.
It's a good feel good story.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, let's see. This is some of the best advice I've seen in a while. I don't know if you heard this. Nancy Pelosi advises Biden on how to act around women. Pretend like you have a cold. Yeah, that's how you should act around women.
Pretend like you don't have.
No, pretend like you
do
have a cold.
Gotcha.
She said that for real?
Yeah,
Wow.
that is a quote. Pretend you have a cold. So if you're like, oh, should I touch this woman? Be like, probably not. I have a cold. Should I kiss her on her neck? Probably not. I have a cold. Yeah, it's actually pretty good advice if somebody has no compass as to when they should actually like touch and like interact with women in a very close manner. This is a pretty good one. Like,
It is good.
should I talk to this woman? Yeah, that should be fine. I have a cold. I'll just stay far enough away that she won't have a cold and not talk right into her face. Right? I won't whisper into her ear because I have a cold. So it actually works.
It works.
Yeah, I like that.
It does.
Yeah.
It's really smart.
I also there was also some advice I saw on the internet a while back, and I can't credit it because I don't remember where it came from. But another way to work when it comes to how to deal with sexual harassment with women, right, is an imagine that that the woman that is in question is Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Ooh,
Oh my God.
wow.
Right. So if you're like, should I put my hand on the small of this woman's back as I go by? You should think, would I do that to Dwayne The Rock
He
Johnson?
probably wouldn't appreciate
And
it.
if the answer is no, you probably shouldn't do
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
Like, is this coworker of mine who happens to be female currently hitting on me when she says I'm doing a good job? If Dwayne The Rock Johnson was saying I was doing a good job, would I think he was hitting on me? No, I wouldn't. So probably not.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe I should
Yeah,
start doing that.
It works pretty well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Just treat women like Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
You'll learn something every day.
Yeah. All right. So is it news?
Is that news?
Nancy Pelosi.
I mean,
Oh, right.
there's a lot out there right now about this subject.
Yeah.
Because it's so, it's so current and it's sort of unfolding. And I think something comes out about it every day now. Maybe for the next couple of days, it will continue before it kind of dies off. Who knows?
Sure.
I think Uncle Joe made a statement or something today, even, or tweeted something out about recognizing perhaps the times have changed and he should reassess or reevaluate.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Personal space and the concept of personal space and all kind of stuff. So, but I don't know. It'll probably
Which I think is great.
sure.
Yeah.
Right?
And now maybe he'll take Nancy Pelosi's advice into consideration and be more popular.
I'm a big fan of not all people are perfect, but it's sometimes you do the wrong thing. It's about doing the next right thing.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah.
So it's like if you're like, it's fine. She probably liked it. You go, next, we don't, you're done. But if you go, you know what? I've learned something and I should probably change the way I do things because I was wrong. Then I go, okay,
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
It's hard to argue with that.
Yeah.
Right on.
All right. Next one up. What is rice?
Rice.
According to an Arkansas law, it is not cauliflower. Did you know this?
No.
Rice
Yeah.
is not
Think
cauliflower.
so.
It is not.
I didn't know that it was.
According
Neither
to
did I. What?
Arkansas has put its foot down and no longer will cauliflower be considered rice.
Well, good
wow,
for them.
that's quite a statement.
Yeah.
I had cauliflower 2 nights ago, actually. This is interesting.
Well,
But
was
you
it
didn't
rice?
think it was rice,
No,
right?
I did. Not for. I thought it was cauliflower.
Then
Was
who
it-
thought it was rice?
Was it rice or was it cauliflower?
No, it was cauliflower.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty damn sure it was cauliflower. It tasted like cauliflower.
Have you heard of cauliflower rice?
No.
Yes, I have. Actually, this is embarrassing. I purchased it once,
Yeah?
and then I let it go bad before I cooked it.
What
So I
is
can't-
it?
Because you
It's-
thought it was like normal rice where
thought
it just
it
never
was.
goes bad.
It's just like,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like dried shredded cauliflower in tiny little bits. It's almost like shredded cauliflower, but it's
Yeah.
it hasn't been cooked yet.
Weird.
Maybe it's a similar idea as like spaghetti squash. You're
It's like-
substituting one thing for another.
Yeah, it's like little grains of cauliflower. So you break up a cauliflower into just tiny little bits so that they're kind of like rice. And so people are calling this cauliflower rice because little bits of cauliflower, and then you could maybe substitute it for rice. And in Arkansas, you can now not refer to it as cauliflower rice.
Can you also not refer to spaghetti squash as spaghetti squash? I mean, it's the same idea.
I've no idea.
Those silly people out there, what are they doing?
Yeah. And so now I guess you have to call it like granulated cauliflower. I don't know what
Wow.
they're going to call it.
You know, there are important things going on in this world, and that is certainly one of them. So I'm glad that came up.
Well, you know, the rice lobby is always getting into their stuff.
I don't know about that one.
I feel like we've started to do this in a lot of places though, because I'm kind of sick and tired of all the different milks,
Yes.
Okay.
right? Like,
There's no oat milk now. It's all sold out online apparently.
what is it?
Oat
It's what milk?
Oat milk.
Oat milk. Okay.
Yeah, I saw an HBO documentary on it. It's so
Like
popular
no more
now.
ever? It's gone forever?
Well, it was all sold out. Maybe they've restocked, but this
Yeah.
one company in Stockholm. makes
Yeah.
it.
It just, to me, it's just a weird thing that like almonds have milk and stuff. You're like, no, that's not what that is. That's almond juice at best.
Yeah, milk comes out of mammals by definition.
I believe so.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think we need to kind of get on the bandwagon of that. So is it news?
What?
You've lost
The
it.
cauliflower rice. Yeah.
We keep getting
Oh,
distracted.
Yeah. We're running late. We have to get going.
I guess not,
Yeah, I'd say no.
because I think that's just
'Cause, yeah,
words.
Who cares? Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to skip over the last one because we're running low on time and I want to make sure that we get to the important things. So let's talk about some music.
Yay.
So you brought a track to us called Forged Alliance. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Do you want to go first?
You go for it.
Everyone is telling everyone else to talk about it.
Okay, so
Perfect.
Rebecca,
Rebecca just feels like she's doing all the talking, so she's trying to get other people to chime in.
I'm actually really introverted. So I'll have to tell you about our album first, and then y'all understand Forged Alliance. So
Okay.
we just released a new concept album called The Descent.
Mhm.
It's about revolutions and the rise and fall of nations.
Okay.
So the first song is called The Demagogue. You probably know what that means. And
Yeah.
a demagogue wouldn't be a demagogue if there isn't a following. So Forged Alliance is the blind people following the demagogue, I guess.
Gotcha. So it's the faithful.
Yes.
Kind of.
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm. Yeah, and this is kind of so our music tends to be darker, right? And this is the only song of ours that's a little poppy.
Oh,
And
interesting.
it sort of reflects this exuberance that you feel when you're blindly following a demagogue.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a jubilance about being a part of something
Mhm.
and having something to follow and participation.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
invigorating to be part of something, even if it's evil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what inspired it?
Current events.
Okay, we'll go vague with it.
Yeah.
Yes.
You'll figure it out.
Y'all figure it out. If you live in DC, you know what it means.
And you, what type of music do you guys call yourself? Is it dark wave? Is it?
Yeah, dark wave, indie rocks. Do you know Rocksplosion, Alec?
Uh-huh.
He called our music goth metal at some point.
Okay.
And then other people have also compared our music to Radiohead, but like a darker version of Radiohead,
Okay.
which I love because I love Radiohead.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's super flattering.
It's fairly heavy, right? I mean, it's a heavier sound. It's just not when you think of like metal, you're gonna get things like screaming and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a little more ethereal in that sense.
Yeah, and a little more
Um,
laid back. Yeah.
Yeah, and so there's a little bit more atmosphere to it, I think, than just assault. And so yeah, what other bands? So if people were to, if there were bands that people kind of dug, what would be the gateway drug to dark wave?
So Joy Division.
Okay.
Right? Radiohead isn't dark, but they're just so good. I
Joy
feel like-
Division. What's the big hit that they had?
Oh, there's quite a few.
Is
Yeah.
it? I was trying to think of the one that like everyone knew. What is it?
we do a
Love-
cover called New Dawn Fades.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not as famous. Love Will Tear Us Apart. Is that? the
I
biggest
think
hit?
that's what I'm thinking of
yeah.
is like the big one that they
Yeah.
were most known for. But they had a handful of different hits,
Mhm.
various levels. But I
Yep.
think the Level Taylor's part is the one that somebody who's not
Yep.
into them would probably already still know about.
Yeah. And The Cure. I mean, everyone knows The Cure.
The Cure is a really good one. Yeah.
Do you know Chelsea Wolfe? She's newer.
No, I'm not familiar with her.
Check out her stuff. It's
Okay.
really good. So she uses a lot of fuzz in her music. It's really heavy, but she does this ethereal vocal, which
Oh,
is kind of
cool.
similar to our
Mhm.
sound. And that's actually how we discovered Chelsea Wolfe, because somebody said that we sounded like Chelsea Wolfe.
Nice.
So it's this dark background music with ethereal female vocal layered on top of it.
I use a lot of fuzz on my face.
Do you?
All the time.
Yeah. All right. That's awesome. Well, we unfortunately don't have the track here live tonight. So our dear friend Adam, our engineer, he will put that in post, but I want to leave a little space for it so that we're not talking over it. So without further ado, this is the track from the album Descent by the Neuro Farm called Forged Alliance. All right, that is probably enough time. We have all stared at each other for a couple seconds.
Keith was dancing up the street.
Yes, that's what I do all of the time. Anyhow, if you want to hear the entire track, fast forward to the 1 hour mark of this show, and you can listen to it in its complexity, its uninterrupted fullness. But if you want to see it live, make sure you go Saturday, May 11th to the Do Drop in Washington, D.C. And check out the Neurofarm live, because I assume you'll be doing this track there. Is it? Yeah. All right. And if you want to find out more about more shows and more music, go to theneurofarm.com with an F, not a PH.
Right.
Excellent. So let's move on, since we've been running low on time, and go to our game show that we invented called Please God, Just Get One Right. This is pretty easy in concept. It's not as easy in practice. You just have to get 1 out of 6 questions correct. Now, keep in mind, this category was selected by Josh and Enzo of Black Dog Prowl, who just won a whammy just this last Sunday. And so you can go check them out Saturday, April 6th at Gypsy Sally's. And if you don't like this particular category, feel free to go let them know. You can go to their show and be like, you bastards.
We will.
And you can check out more about them at blackdogprowl.com. So are you ready for the category that they chose for you?
Yes.
Let's go for it. Let's do it.
The category is out of print rock albums.
Oh.
How do you feel?
Yeah, not so good.
Lukewarm.
All right. It can come from left field. We've had the one before that was discontinued snack foods. So it could go any direction. I feel at least like this one's music related, so you might have a shot at it.
I do love snack food.
All right, so let's get started here. The Black Album was written and produced by what artist who pulled the album before it was released because he believed it was evil? The truth of the matter is that he had a bad MDMA experience shortly before the release.
Let's go with Prince on that one.
That's right. Right off the bat.
Right.
Look at that.
Wow.
Nicely done.
You know, I knew that because one of my better college buddies was so excited to present to me on cassette his weird, terribly awful quality sounding bootleg copy of the Black Album, which I listened to feverishly. I couldn't believe. I was like, I can't believe I have this.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was listening to some super undergroundy, like I don't know, Prohibition era piece of music. It was wild, but I heard it. It was interesting. So that's how I knew that.
Who would have known? Look at this.
Yeah.
You felt medium about it, and you knew the first one. All right. Well, the rest of this is just icing because you've now won the game already.
Oh,
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So let's just cruise through the rest of them.
I was and remain a huge Prince fan. I think he was amazing. I can't believe that guy died. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, it's very sad.
But anyway,
Neil Young produced a live album in 1973 by recording directly to 16-track and mixing on CompuMix simultaneously. The resulting album, to use industry terms, sucked balls and could not be repaired because no two-track master was ever made. What was the name of his now out of print live album?
Oh, I wish I knew. I love Neil Young, but I don't know.
No
what
idea.
This album
I don't know
is
that one
now.
either.
Time Fades Away.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Have you?
Yeah.
So apparently can't go get that. And apparently it sucks balls.
Wow.
I believe Adam may have written that one. All right. The name of the only album that these two Fleetwood Mac members recorded as a duo was a combination of their last names. What was the name of this album?
Oh goodness! Wow.
I feel like that's something you would know.
He knows all of these.
Yeah.
One more time.
The name of the only album that these two Fleetwood Mac members recorded as a duo was a combination of their last names. What is the name of that album?
It's not Buckingham Nicks.
It is Buckingham Nicks.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. All right. I mean, who else would it be if we're talking about Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah,
Right?
look at that. You got 2 right.
Woo!
I mean,
It could have been Fleetwood.
And let's not get. We don't have another hour, so we shouldn't talk about the fact that they booted Lindsey Buckingham out of the band.
Probably.
That's a whole another hour.
That's another hour worth of talking.
Yeah.
It's a very sad thing.
Yeah.
All right. The only live album ever released by the Beatles and Beatles by the Lemurs, which is no longer available, was pieced together from several live performances at what famous outdoor California venue?
Rose Bowl?
Was the Hollywood Bowl opening? Hollywood Bowl? I'm going to go with Hollywood Bowl. I'm just guessing.
You have Rose Bowl and you have Hollywood Bowl.
Rose Bowl was too big for them. That's like 100,000. I'm thinking Hollywood Bowl.
Go ahead.
Do you have to phone a friend? You have to come together. What do you
guys think?
Come together.
A bowl.
Come together.
Hey, good one. What do you think? I don't know. I don't know if they ever played the Rose Bowl. Maybe they did. I don't know.
Maybe Hollywood Bowl. Let's go with that.
Hollywood Bowl?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes, it's the Hollywood Bowl.
Yes!
Wow, nice.
Oh my God, we're so good at this.
You are.
Mostly Colin is
I was
good
like,
at it.
Yeah,
I mean, the
it's
Rose
really all
Bowl is
Colin.
huge. I mean, I know they were huge and everything, but that would have been, back in the day, that would have been kind of wild. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right. You're rolling along here.
All right.
Nicely done. All right. David Bowie, guitarist Reeve Gabrels, and the rhythm section of Hunt and Tony Sales released what unavailable album in 1991?
Love this album. I wish I had it. Tin Machine.
Wrong.
No?
That is incorrect.
That's not it?
No.
No.
It is Tin Machine 2.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Wow.
There is an album called Tin Machine.
Oh, okay. That's
and
the one I
that did
had.
come out. But Tin Machine 2
Bummer.
is not available because apparently they got unsigned right on the eve of it being
Bummer.
released.
Oh, okay, I had the first one, which I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Reeves Gabrels, by the way, plays with The Cure now.
Oh, okay. Very cool.
He's an older dude. They were on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he's from this area, by the way.
Is he really?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
He's like the only American dude in the band, but
wow.
he's in The Cure now.
Wow.
Yeah. Anyway.
So nicely done. You were so
Oh,
close.
I thought I had that.
Close. So now you have to track down. Did you like Tin Machine?
Loved it. Loved it.
Okay. So now you have to find Tin Machine
Tin Machine 2. Okay.
because that exists and it's a whole nother album of music.
All right. Yeah, David Bowie had this band. They were freaking awesome.
Mm.
Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
I think I had Tin Machine as well. And I didn't know what they were. Like, it wasn't like I went and got it. Like, I think I got it in some gift bag or something,
Yeah.
rather. And I was like, what's this? And it was pretty cool.
I think
like,
my buddy who gave me the Prince Black album is one who gave me that too.
Oh,
He
yeah?
hooked me up with that on a cassette. Anyway.
all right. Last but not least, I mean, you've already won. So this is moot. We don't even need to go into it at this point, right?
Let's go for it.
Heir Apparent, their album Sunrise, which was released in 1996 and then re-released on CD in 1992, but is no longer available, was produced by what famous guitarist?
The artist is Air. What's
Heir Apparent. E-I-R-E.
I don't even know that artist.
Apparent.
Yeah, don't either.
Don't know that. This is kind of obscure.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got to throw something.
Any hints? Any hints?
What famous 60s guitarist?
Produced the record?
Yeah.
60s guitarist. I
Eric Clapton, I don't know.
Good guess.
don't know.
Any other guesses?
I'm out. Yeah, nothing on this one.
Jimi Hendrix.
What?
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Jimi
Okay.
Hendrix produced an album.
What?
Mhm. He even played on it.
No
too.
idea. That's
Really?
crazy.
He played on some of the tracks, but produced the entire album.
Interesting.
And the band was called Heir Apparent, and the album's called Sunrise.
Wow. No
Not-
idea.
Not widely available anymore.
Had no idea.
So yeah,
All
I
right.
didn't either, but I had to do research for this particular piece. So
Okay.
you guys won. You won.
Wow.
Yay!
All right, cool. Good for
I think we
us.
ended up with 3. I think you got
Awesome.
3 out of 6.
Cool.
It's a good 50%.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the world record. I think we had 4 once, if I remember right.
I was
least we
hoping
didn't-
to break your record.
Yeah.
We didn't totally bomb it.
I'm sure that's what you came here for.
Record breaking.
Wrecking breaking on a tiny podcast.
Oh.
So you did good though.
Cool.
So great news.
All right.
You get to choose a gift out of the sack of joy.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Let me go grab that. And while
Oh.
I'm doing this, Think about, you now have to have a category for our next guest. So think about that. You consult with each other. What should be the category?
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
There's going to be over here getting the sack of joy.
Oh, the sack of joy.
You can tell it says best gift ever on
Oh,
it.
it really does.
Who would like to reach their hand into my sack?
Brian. Oh,
Wow.
that was. I want to touch
do
that with a
it.
10-foot pole.
You have the
Who
longest
would like to
arms.
touch my sack with a
Do
10-foot
have
pole?
long arms.
Brian, we elect you.
All right, sure. Close your eyes because they are not at all.
Here's
wrapped or
this
anything.
is the big moment.
Feel around in my sack.
The big reveal. Wow.
Grab
Feels so
whatever you want.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of junk in my sack. Oh, you're going with the big one. All right, what did you
is
get?
it?
I don't know what this is. A sandwich bag.
Go on, Mike. You have to talk on the microphone. What did you get?
Got me a nice new pack of sandwich bags.
But what? How are they unique? They're not just sandwich bags.
They're 2 styles?
They're just-
That's what it says on the box. There's 2 styles.
What are they called?
Made with love.
Yeah. So they're sandwich
that?
bags
Two
that
stars.
have kisses on them. They have kisses printed on them, so it shows that you care.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's thoughtful.
So when your betrothed prepares your lunch to go off to work, you can,
Yeah.
it's really made with
And you
care. You
wanna-
can
Yeah.
tell.
It's got love on it.
You wanna
All
get-
over it.
Each bag is decorated with luscious lipstick prints
Uh-huh.
in 2 different styles.
I'm just saying.
Wow.
Yeah.
This could be a little idea for merch bags.
That's what I've always wanted.
Oh,
Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome. You won.
That's sweet.
All right. What did you decide for your category for our next guest?
Oh, we were so
were so- we were
distracted.
We were so focused on Brian grabbing things out of your sack.
Well,
We,
it is distracting.
Yeah.
Very.
What do you think?
Mhm.
Category. Next category.
Old goth bands or science?
We got to give him fighting. We got to give him a fighting chance.
so no neuropharmacology.
I do have to find 6 questions.
Yeah. We got it. Yeah.
so just make
Yep.
sure that we have that
we
in
can't
place.
make Keith's job too difficult.
Right. So
But there's so many science questions.
What about vintage cars?
vintage cars. Are you guys good with that?
No.
Sure.
I mean, we're okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're okay with
Is there
that.
something else you'd rather? We have
I had a 1987 Chrysler New Yorker.
nice.
Mhm.
Excellent. I had an 83 Toyota Corolla. I don't think that's a
Nice.
classic car.
Can you come up with 6 questions for that?
I can definitely. Is there something about the classic cars? Do we want to like make it smaller than that? I think we could be more specific.
Classic American sports cars.
Okay, classic American sports
What do you
cars.
think of that?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
And we've definitely not done anything like that. American sports cars.
So good luck to the next band that comes in here.
They're going to be like, cars? Are you kidding me? They got fucking rock albums and we got cars?
I know, right? That's not fair.
Well, we did get 3 questions right, so.
I do like that you went, you know what? We got 3 right. We're going to make it really hard on the next people so they don't catch up to us.
I mean, there's a lot of possibility there. We can
There
you,
is.
you can make it. You can make it. There's a gradual level of difficulty you can work up to. Right. Start easy, Thunderbird. Or that's not a sports car, but anyway, you get the
You
the
don't even
picture.
know.
You got the
sports
first
car.
question wrong.
And we made up the category.
Right.
Oh
What a
my
bunch of
God.
dummies.
All right. Well, congratulations. I hope you get a
right.
lot of use out of your Sealed with a Kiss sandwich bags.
We will.
You can put your merch in that and sell your merch with it. All right. So last but not least, we're going to learn a little bit about you and some of the stories you guys have with a segment we call Near and Far.
I understand.
You understand?
But we understand.
Yeah. I hear that we have a near story about Satanism.
We do. I think that's attributed to me. And
I like your style.
Yeah. So I wanted to put this out there. It's a potentially interesting discussion subject, but the short version of the story is, so I joined Neurofarm in summer of 2017.
Okay. Did it exist before that, or like did you join an existing band, or did it form?
they'd
around
been
that
doing
time?
their thing for a while.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
did Nora Farm actually start?
Well, it's kind of this evolving process. So we met in 2010. We started writing songs together.
Okay.
Because we were in grad school together.
Mhm.
But then we didn't start performing until like just right before you joined our band. And then I think we didn't become what we are now until you join the band.
Yeah.
Really.
Did somebody leave? Did you take somebody's spot?
Yeah, there was a previous drummer.
Like a crappier drummer?
No.
Like not as nice?
No.
Oh,
Kind of a smelly drummer?
He's really famous, actually. He went on a national book tour.
Oh, really?
Frank Lee Ruggles. He's a world-renowned photographer.
Very nicely done. Okay. Unfortunately, not good at drums, though.
Well, he just moved on to other opportunities.
He had to do his book tour.
He wanted to spend more time with his family.
You should have combined the two. You could have done a music/book tour and just played in all the cities he was doing his book tour.
True. We could have.
So, so I joined in summer of 2017, and I think we rehearsed pretty intensely for a couple months before we did our first show together.
Good idea.
Right.
Yeah.
So we do the first gig, and I think at the time, we were looking kind of ominous and stuff, and I had shaved my head that summer.
Okay.
Because it was hot and gross. And so we took a few
Makes sense.
few photos right after that gig, like still at the venue and stuff. And there's something about the venue where we were at. I think it was the Pinch in DC.
Okay.
It's downstairs. We were all like just looking kind of
like weird lighting and stuff.
All that stuff. And maybe in the filters of the photos and whatever it was, we posted these photos online.
Yeah.
My dear mama, who is a senior citizen, retired, living out in the Midwest, a very quiet and comfortable existence amongst cornfields and soybean fields.
Sure.
Likes to get online
book clubs.
Yeah, exactly. Gets
Quilting.
online late at night when my dad is sleeping on the couch, probably drooling, while the TV's on.
With the beer pouring
Exactly.
out. Yeah.
Something like that. She got online and she's like, oh, let me do some Googling on Neurofarm. That my son is playing drums in this band.
Right. He's a musician. Let me see what he does.
Yes. And so comes across a bunch of photos of me and this cast of characters that we have going on here. And she goes, so I talked to her on the phone. She goes, I'm really concerned that you might be into some satanic or dark kind of ritualistic things going on. You look so evil and so affected and unhappy. What's going on with you?
Right.
And I had to assure her
the power of Christ compels you.
Yes, I had to assure her that indeed I am. No, I'm joking. I had to talk her off the ledge a little bit, but she was legitimately concerned that I was into some dark shit.
Right. You should have been like, you should have seen it when we were killing the goat.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, dark music aside, she was really concerned, but we've come to an understanding now. It's all fine. But
good.
I've never heard such concern in her voice. But anyway, so
so you scared your mom.
I scared her, but I have not played her the new album, by the way, you guys. And I don't think I'm going to.
I thought that was the best compliment ever.
Yeah.
That she thought Colin was into satanic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. It sounds like you're nailing what you're going for, right?
Exactly.
You're like, cool, we're scaring old ladies. Nailed it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished, as they say.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So a far story, you said you have a story about a student.
Yeah, this is not as funny, but it's actually really touching.
Yeah.
So, now by day, I'm a neuroscientist, right? So I keep my work life and my personal life separate.
Except for the name of the band.
Right.
It's not that separate.
Well, a lot of musicians actually think we're being facetious.
Yeah.
But they don't know that we're actual neuroscientists.
Neuroscientists, yeah.
So anyways, I have a lot of students that I mentor and they don't always know that I'm a musician.
Okay.
Okay, so that's the premise. So one day, right before our show, I was standing outside the venue talking to a bunch of people. And then in my peripheral vision, I saw who I thought was Samantha Grimes, my student from 2 years ago.
Okay.
And I thought, there's no way that Samantha would be here.
No.
Right? First of all, she wouldn't know that I'm a musician or she wouldn't know that I'm playing a show tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And plus, she lived in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
She was going to college in Pittsburgh. So that person and 3 other girls kept walking closer and closer to me. I was like, interesting. So I finally looked at her direction. And holy crap, it was Samantha.
Oh, did she end up seeing you on stage?
She drove all the way from Pittsburgh to surprise me.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that cute?
Oh, that's so sweet of her.
Yeah, I was really touched.
Well, unfortunately, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Did you have a good time, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you so much, Keith.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear it.
Lots of fun.
In studio this week, we had the Neurofarm.
Woo!
You've heard the song Forged Alliance from their album, The Descent, which came out on March 6th. Go catch that everywhere. Saturday, May 11th, they'll be at the Dewdrop Inn in Washington, D.C. Go check out theneurofarm.com for more information. Please like our post, follow us, retweet us, share the show on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. We cannot do this without you. And if you don't forget to review us on Facebook, iTunes, and Google Play. If you're an artist, musician, or culture creator in the DC area, we want you on our show. Email us at booking@anotherwastedhour.com. Thanks to Adam for not showing up, and everybody else for all of their contributions. Most of all, thanks to the Neurofarm for wasting a perfectly good hour with us. This has been Another Wasted Hour, and if you just realized that, don't blame us. We warned you.